Nuances and Notes. The light. After I would go to all these hotel lobbies and look around, observe, I started gravitating. I especially gravitated towards light fixtures. I was really into lighting. And at the same time, so I'd taken a step back and I would start to go to these different spaces. At the same time, I stopped doing my podcast and I started working with other artists. So my friends are in a band called Bone Lane. And so every week I would just start going to their studio and just hang out and record. So I took the skills and my recording setup and style with the podcast and would just then bring it to the studio. And so we would record conversations, and then I would record them in the studio working. And I remembered how much more you can learn by working with others, by collaborating with others, rather than just kind of you by yourself doing your thing. And I learned a lot from them, and it really gave me an opportunity to explore my creativity and what I was learning through these hotel lobbies. I got really into Da Vinci and read his biography, and I became really interested in like staging and lighting, and I had been interested in art and science fields before, but then seeing that was kind of the what would you call it, like the summary of Da Vinci, then I really kind of narrowed that down, or was conscious of it more. Like, the reason I got into Da Vinci is because there's this like personality test called the Myers-Briggs. And in 2020, I got really into it. And Da Vinci and I have the same like Myers-Briggs. And so one of the things I wanted to do is after the near death experience with the gunman encounter, I started reading more again and getting into biographies. Bill Belichick, Bob Dylan, and Leonardo da Vinci. But Da Vinci in particular was like, because our brains kind of operate in a similar way. I remember the first page I opened up to, and the first sentence in this preface was, if Da Vinci was living today, he would for sure be on attention medication or prescription medication for ADHD or something like that. And I was like, wow, that's a very bold thing to start off with. And I would think about conversations I've had with other people, and they're like, you know, there's drugs for that, right? And I'm like, nah, no, I don't want to do that. Hence why my interests are very broad, and I explore it a lot. But regardless, I was really into Da Vinci, and I learned a lot from that book. And when I read to learn, to take and to learn and apply and give, right? So I started working with musical artists on a regular basis, and I was really getting into light fixtures and just lighting and what lighting does for for a stage or a setting in a way. And in a sense, every bar, restaurant, hotel, it's all a stage. It's all a scene, right? And so I would just go around in different places and really observe the light fixtures and note which are my favorite, and I really like the detailed and intricate ones. So light fixtures became an obsession of mine. And I went to Mexico City. I'm so blessed to have just generous people in my life and generous friends and family. And I stayed with a friend's family in Mexico City. And so we would go around. They showed me all over Mexico City. It was such an amazing time. It was great, too, because I was coming from Chicago, which it was 40 degrees. And Mexico City was 80 and sunny. Every day I was there for a week. But when we would go around in the city, I just would constantly look at the light fixtures. And I would take photos. I got really into light fixture photography. I just became so passionate about it. And everywhere we go, I'm kind of dragging behind because I'm taking these photos. I stopped and took photos of these light fixtures. And then in April, I went to Miami. I enjoy going to Miami every year. And coming from Chicago, the time I don't like is not the winter. It's not the Chicago winter with its harshness and brutality. It's really the winter to spring where it's between 20 and 50 degrees every day and gray every day for 2 or 3 months. That's what I have a hard time with. So in April, I went to Miami, and it was the same thing, but just taken up a notch. Going to different places, walking around, and light fixtures. And one day when I was in Miami, it was in South Beach. I was staying in Miami Beach, but North Miami Beach. Again, so thankful and grateful for friends. There's amazing people out in the world, and I really appreciate them. One day, I was in South Beach on the main strip, and I went to every single hotel and walked in, checked out the lobby, and observed their light fixtures. So I would just go in and just look around, just appreciate everything. I'm a appreciator of things, right? And again, here's this space in Miami. When people walk in, they want them to feel a certain way, to think something in particular, or not particular, but think generally something, right? And it was so fun to me to just explore that curiosity and that wonder, and then guess too, I see what they're trying to do here with this here, and it's all these little small things add up. And then I went to the big one to conclude it was the Versace mansion, the fashion designer. And so I walk in, and it was modeled after kind of a Italian villa mansion thing. Really cool. And again, just an appreciator of things. And I just walked around. I got myself a glass of wine, and I just walked around the entire mansion, gave myself a tour. And it was so funny watching all the people that worked there just observe me, what is he doing? I'm going up to, just the baseboards of a room and taking photos. And again, the lights. Light to me. Now, light has an even deeper meaning for me, and it has even bigger symbolism and things like that. I think lighting is just this perfect thing. And lighting it's all about energy. Like, lighting affects the energy of people in the space. My brother's an electrician, and when he was doing his apprenticeship, he just started electrifying everything. Any type of building or shelter, he wanted to put electricity in that thing. And he would work on industrial jobs. And so these industrial spaces, they would have leftover light bulbs, right? Well, my parents are very, like, I grew up on a farm, and we're frugal and whatever. We're country folk. And he would have these leftover industrial bulbs. And my parents would use these industrial bulbs in the kitchen and like living spaces. And it's one of the most offensive things to me. Bad lighting, poor lighting is one of the most offensive things to me. Bad attitudes and bad lighting. Two of the most offensive things to me. And it affects my energy. Like, when the kitchen light is on and you have this industrial light just beaming at you, it makes me feel not great. It affects my energy. It really does. So I think lighting is a very important thing with that. So I got into lighting. Now, on that very day, outside one of the hotels, there was this plant, and it was in this pot. It was like a cement or, something, one of those materials, right? And it had these designs on it. And that's when the light kind of went on. I could take photos of these designs, and I could use the same process I used for my last art project, artwork, and book that I made, and apply it to designs that I see, but designs of more of a nature inspiration. Designs that reflect nature. That's what I've been more and more into. And so that right there, what I did for the last project, Primary Ponderings, I would just go about my everyday life and then just keep my eye open and be aware of designs around me and how things look, right? And I would take photos of designs, in particular like geometric designs. Not necessarily a completed design, but like a doorway or a window or what do you call it? Like sidewalk bumps on the sidewalks. There's all these designs all over the place. And then I would replicate them in Adobe Illustrator and put the primary colors on them. Because that's how I wanted. I used to paint quite a bit, and I would always use the primary colors because I think that's how I wanted to feel, this bright boldness, hopeful. And what I could do now with this one is take kind of a similar approach. Take photos of designs I see, put them in Illustrator, but put a different effect on them. And instead of the primary colors, let's just make it really simple. Just black and white. Everything just black and white. And I then started taking a couple of photos and seeing the results, and I just loved it. I fell in love with it.